So now I'm going to actually rank the Hokages. And boy, am I gonna have so many people saying, "You can't do that, those are my favorite Hokages," and blah 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 blah. Well, sorry haters. The worst Hokage is Minato. Not a bad ninja. An amazing, one of the best ever ninjas. I think some people made that comment in other videos. But the worst Hokage. Because what I look for in a good Hokage, and this is even for presidents in real life, things like that, is how long do they serve and what's their lasting impact that will be remembered. Minato has neither. For that matter, his village was attacked under his watch. He failed to fully stop Toby, who would create problems later in the series. And then he has a slew of other problems, but I don't count them, like leaving behind Naruto and all that, as Hokage problems. So I won't mention them really, other than what I just did. Because, like I said, those are personal problems that many Hokage have that I will put aside because it has nothing to do with their job. Also, he didn't really create anything in the village. Kind of just was kept the peace. Part of it has to do with his short reign. And he really just is... If it weren't for him being Naruto's dad, we would probably not even remember him. He wouldn't be a memorable Hokage. Number 4, you probably all saw it, Tsunade. She's the weakest Hokage, but not by far. Okay, a lot of people forget that this woman tussles with Uchiha Madara. And her and Onoki really rallied the Kages up against him, and she was a tank against him. So she's not weak by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that she's the weakest out of the 5 because the 5 Hokage are so strong, and in my opinion, the strongest Hokage. The strongest Kages. But she's the only one out of all the Hokages to have the entire village literally destroyed. Pain anyone? She also is the most corrupt Hokage, in my opinion. Yeah, she starts off saying, "Naruto, you can't do this by the law." But why does she even do that if we all know that in the end she's just going to let Naruto break the law because she has some crush on him? Another thing is, from a lot of her time in office, she's in a coma or hurt or on the verge of death, and she's the one who's fought on the front lines more than any other Hokage, which is admirable, but also shows weakness, that the fact that she does have to constantly fight on the front lines. She can't just sit back and enjoy peace like many other Hokages did. After her is Tobirama. Now, I spent a long time in the first part talking about him, so I will be kind of brief with him too. Just to recap, he created the police corps, good and bad things, but I would say mostly good. He, for Neverworld's logic, created Hiruzen. And then the last thing I haven't talked about is he and Hashirama are the only Hokages, in my opinion, to successfully and completely defend the village. And they're the only 2 Hokages to not have it directly infiltrated. And I know some of you really smart people out there are going to remember an incident during Tobirama's reign with the Cloud Ninja who kidnapped a Hyuga. I don't count that as infiltration because nothing was really destroyed or anything. I'm talking giant snakes destroying buildings, Hiruzen, the entire village being destroyed by gravity, Tsunade, and a QB destroying much of the city, Minato. So, there you go. Basically, Tobirama defended the village during the First Shinobi World War. And on a side note, Hashirama partially caused that war because of his peace talks, ironically, because he seemed really arrogant, like, wow, like other countries said, you really think that you're so great that you can just bring everyone together and you're that great for that? No, we're going to fight. So that kind of helped cause the war. Well, Tobirama defended the village against this by himself against this really elite team named Hiruzen the Hokage, and died nobly. And I don't know if he successfully ended the war that way, but it was pretty close. He successfully repelled the foreigners and ended Konoha's involvement in the war. And for the most part, his reign was peaceful and prosperous. Now, Hiruzen and Hashirama. They are so hard to rank. They're just great. And at one point, I almost said, you know what, I'm making them tied for first. But then I said, no, I got to make a decision, and I'm gonna have to put Hiruzen at second. He is by far, out of the 5, the most compassionate and definitely biggest down-to-earth Hokage out of them all. Hashirama comes close, but I think Hiruzen, you will always see clips of him talking with every academy student, giving them advice, really being a kind man, helping Sasuke through his parents' death, talking to Naruto, the outcast, socializing with everyone. He's a really nice, fatherly figure. He has the longest reign of anyone. He is a very, very powerful ninja. But he does have his flaws, allowing the Uchiha massacre, although I will cut him some slack because it was mostly Danzo pushing it. But a major thing, because a lot of you are going to say on my earlier comment of Tobirama and Hashirama being the only Hokages to successfully defend the village, you're going to say Hiruzen did too? I don't think so in my book. Orochimaru still caused problems later. All he did was seal his arms, and then he just got his arms back in a few months. And, even though it's really sad, in a way, by Hiruzen sacrificing himself, I know he had no choice, but by sacrificing himself, he sacrificed a great asset to the village and caused a little bit of panic for a short while of who's going to be the next Hokage. So that was a burden on the village too. And a lot of the village was destroyed too. Not on Tsunade's scale, by any means, but he still did. So I would say that gives him a lot of negative features that would place him below Hashirama. And then finally, Hashirama. He was very kind and compassionate too. But again, like I said earlier, I don't think quite as compassionate as Hiruzen. But he was by far the strongest out of all 5 Hokage. By far. And I give him a lot of credit, even though it kind of seems like cliche, or not cliche, I don't know the right word, but wow, you'd really give him credit for creating the village. I think that's a great thing. Creating the Kage position, and then successfully defending it. Yes, he partially caused the first war, as I said, but I don't think the war actually happened during his reign. So I will say, during his reign, based on what we know, no wars happened, and it was peaceful and prosperous. And he repelled a threat before it even came, Madara, who happened to be his best friend. But even Hashirama has his flaws. For example, trusting Madara to such an extent. His compassion was a great asset, but at the same time a great weakness. And he should have maybe had a touch of Tobirama's attitude toward him, and shouldn't have trusted him quite as much. So let me know what you guys think, if you like my videos or not. I know what I said was kind of harsh, and it seemed like I'm a fanboy for Tobirama, but I'm actually a fanboy for Neverworld, so I love your videos. But really, Tobirama, I just wanted to cut him some slack because I think it was unfair what they said. But don't get me wrong, I think he might be the cause of most, if not all, the whole problems of the entire series. Not just like an arc or something, series. But I don't think he was a bad... Okay, no, he kind of was a bad person, but I don't think he was a bad Hokage. There. Peace out. The first thing I should mention... So, the first thing that for Neverworld mentions is that Tobirama was the student, was the teacher. I'm going to redo this take. So the first thing I should start off by mentioning is Tobirama has been... God dang it!